Alright guys, welcome back for another Overwatch Tendies review. This time we're going over to Korea. We're going to be watching T1 versus Runaway. It's a really interesting match that we're going to be watching because what I've been told, I haven't watched this match, but what I've been told, I actually don't even know the results, I don't even know who wins. But what I've been told is we're going to see a lot of double bubble versus the Brawl Star. I'm actually excited to see like how that's going to play out because that's what we're going to see in Overwatch League, right? The West is going to play a lot of Brawl, play that Reinhardt, Lucio style, while the East is going to play a lot of double, at least as far as we're aware. I think we'll obviously see a little bit of both on each side, but I'm interested to see how that's going to transition into our. So we'll see. Oh, it's too late. It's too late. I've already begun. The clip, if there was a clip, it's gone. I'm sorry, Jet. We can redeem you later, and we'll watch it. But yeah. Let's get into it. I guess we can pause real quick and take a look at the rosters. So, we are going to see Ardo, who you should know, Merit, who was... We've seen Merit. Was Merit on Runaway previously? I don't think we've seen this iteration of Runaway or watched it on stream. But from the other side, we're going to see T1, who the only two people that really ring a bell is Klesson and Krillin. I think I know a little bit of Unique. Like, I think a lot of people were really interested in Unique potentially. People were saying Unique could have been the sub for Funny Astro, right? Everyone was like, hey, Unique should be the player because they could promote Unique from T1 to their, parent team, which is the Philadelphia Fusion. So, I'm interested to see how this is going to go. Yeah, and let's just keep going. What's double bubble? Xayah Ball. No, double bubble is Xayah Winston. So you bubble the Winston. And then your Winston has his own bubble. And that's the idea of double bubble, and that's why it's called it that. There is need to be said that there is a situation where Wrecking Ball is played on King of the Hill, as we are seeing right here. So T1 is going to play the Brawl with a Moira and a Sombra, which is interesting, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. Probably against knowing that they were going to go against what Runaway is doing with the Wrecking Ball. So hopefully they can get good EMPs, get good hacks onto the Wrecking Ball. So T1 does get the first fight. I think T1's comp is better and more well-rounded. We'll see how Runaway does with this. Brigzen was very prominent. So before the double bubble or the Brawl, this comp that Runaway was running was very prominent. It was the meta for months, I think, before this. This is kind of like the previous meta that Runaway's still playing. It's still pretty good on King of the Hill. What you do is you play a Brigzen, and it just has like a lot of protection for the Zen and the Discord. It's very good against the opposing Wrecking Ball, but obviously T1's not playing that, so I'm interested to see if Runaway's going to switch. Is Korean Contenders in low quality? I have it on the highest quality, yeah, sorry, it doesn't go any higher. Ardo suffers in this match. Ardo is a sad story of, I think he had so much potential, but he kind of got stuck in like team hells throughout all of Overwatch League, so I'm interested to see if he can make a redemption arc coming through Korean Contenders. Especially seeing he's on Runaway, right? So Runaway's strategy is to be annoying with the Tracer Ball and then enable your Ashe Zen, right? And that's why they're playing slow, right? The Ball Tracer just trying to create space, and T1's just trying to play slow, wait for something to rush down. Obviously, Runaway doesn't have point control, so it's kind of hard for them to play this as slow as they want to. But, oh, that's a really bad death by Ardo. That makes everything that we just did in the last like 10 seconds just almost irrelevant. They just coalescence, run them down. There you go. No, with that comp doesn't want fights last. No, they want fights lasting long where they can enable the Ashe Zen, but they don't want to have a fight where if as soon as T1 gets on top of Runaway, the game's pretty much over. As soon as they get on top of the Xayah or the backline, it's over. So they have to play so much distance, and that's why they had to take this fight so slowly. And then Ardo getting picked is just like, well, the fight's over. And that's why, like, you're seeing this. We haven't even seen any ults, really, at this point, and we're at a 90% last fight territory. Get a very bad game. Oh, that's not what you want to hear. I might turn up the game sounds just a little bit so we can hear a little bit more. Oh, there goes the EMP. Yeah, T1 honestly feels like they're just hard counter comp Runaway. Like, it's very hard for Runaway to win this, right? They use their rally, they use their bob. Just counter that with an EMP. Like, oh my god, T1's going to get another... Krillin's going to get another Coalescence. So now they can just beat Coalescence against the Grav. Runaway doesn't have enough. Like, they don't have the sustainability that we see from Brawl. Oh, Nice pulse bomb by Addo. Hey, doesn't seem to be doing so bad right now. Is getting the Korean finals? No, I don't believe it is. This is, I don't think Korea hasn't had finals, I don't think. This is like a group stage week, yeah, week 2.
I don't know what happened to Shatter either, got completely blocked out or just didn't see anybody in a situation where there's no one on Runaway.
Groups, yeah.
It's not going to be Dongark. FaZe is the only one that can block a Shatter. All they had to do was wait for a bubble to go.
Alright, so Runaway used literally everything for that though, but so did T1. But I think it'll be interesting to see if T1 struggles to get into this fight, because if T1 can get into the fight without losing somebody, they're in a good spot. But like, look at the setup of Runaway. They have the Wrecking Ball Tracer set up above them. As soon as they try and go, they're just going to create that space. Oh my god. Dude, MN3 almost died. Oh, Ardo dies first again. That can't happen. Like, he should not be the person dying. And they're going to get the ball. In Runaway's defense, T1 is playing it very well, right? They're not forcing engages. They're just pushing forward enough that forces the ball tracer to engage and then just punishing them. And it makes it so hard for the front line of Runaway to play and their back line to assist them. Oh, this is going to be an EMP. We can get the Zen with this. Oh, they're just going to try and kill the tanks with it. FaZe goes down. T1 is very good, yeah. Do you think players like Unique and Klesson could have been better options to be pulled on two ways to help Philly's issues ahead of signing players like Hopper and Toby? I talked about this, but I can go into it again. I really like the Hopper and Toby pickups under the fact that you know what you're going to get from those players. Like Hopper and Toby, veteran players, they've been in the league forever, and I think what you see is what you get. Neither one of them, I think, is going to pop off like crazy and have this massive impact and turn Philly into like a top team. But you know what you're going to get. If you pick up a Kleston or a Unique, like bringing in rookies adds so much variance to the roster. How much coaching do they need? Are they going to synergize with the players? How are they going to do on the main stage? All that kind of stuff. So I actually kind of like going with the Toby and Hopper, especially knowing as they are temporary players. I also don't want to see players like Unique or Kleston, great upcoming players, join a roster like Philly where they play for a month or two until the visa issues get stuck and then they get stuck on the bench again, right? So maybe that's where two-way contracts could have helped. You can make arguments for and against, but I actually don't mind the Toby and Hopper pickup.
Absolute chef's kiss to that one. And now the rollout. It's going to be both running the May here. Nothing too surprising. The double McCree, so my eye is kind of on...
Sometimes lower ceiling, but better, but lower variance players are better. And that's it. And I think that's what Philly's looking to do. If Philly can go 500 during this stage where they don't have their superstar players in like Poco and Shockwave and Funny Ashrew, if they can go 500 during that time, they can salvage the season, right? But in a situation where they pick up a bunch of rookies and they really start to struggle, it's hard to come back from that. Trust me, I know. I played for an 0-7 Valiant. It's hard to come back from that. We just didn't make it to play-ins, even after having a pretty good season in stages 3 and 4.
We'll see what we can work with now, because at least Krillin's going to have a very fast coalescence. That's what you need in this type of composition. It does also require T1 to be mega aggressive.
Alright, let's see what we got.
You got to be walking to the face, they're doing just that.
Coalescence and it is interesting that they are playing the Moira over the Baptiste. And I really don't like the Moira against the Baptiste. Like, I think Runaway's comp is just so much better. The Zarya instead of the D.Va is an interesting choice. We've seen a lot more D.Va as of late, but I just think the Moira just is inferior. As much as the Coalescence is nice and pretty good for engages at certain times, I think the Lamp is just too strong, and I think a lot of people would agree with me on that one. Is Ardo going to live to tell the tale? Wow, well played by Ardo.
Runaway try and chase T1 into the small side rooms. They overstep T1, keep most of their players alive minus Balestria.
Dallas will miss Exy. Yeah, it's going to be hard to replace Exy. I don't really want to... I want to hold off judgment for what to expect from Dallasfield until I know who his replacement is. There is a lot of great contenders, Korean hitscan players, but obviously they're going to suffer from the issue is they're not going to be able to get visas. So we'll see. Oh, Ado lost his mail. Oh, no. Just a little late on that one. And they're gonna win off the back. They just went first.
whole rest of their ultimates and are going to be evening up the percentage here.
What?
Really big stuff coming through for sure. I mean, you have the fact that all the blitzes went in there. Chio even dropped the sound barrier. Unique might have died. I'm not sure what happened to Unique. He didn't get to use the sound barrier at all. MN3 definitely made a lot of space. The fact that the
Yeah.
actually came on through. So, yeah,
How does Runaway get into this fight?
sound barrier and then
I think you gotta go main. I don't like going top left against this. I really just think it's so hard. Is he gonna go for the jump shatter?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think it's so hard to get out of this choke.
Giveaway.
They seem to be doing a pretty good job. T1 got really split by the high noon from Merit.
Both those support ultimates just consumed
Diva bomb's very good.
either way.
That was a very good Diva bomb.
That's the immortality field gone. That's
Right, like you see how smart this Diva bomb is?
on that one, T1.
Wait.
Look at that.
Like, this Diva Bomb is so smart by Cleston because the way it works, right, is Runaway all of a sudden have the high ground positioning and they're putting their backline over behind where we're seeing Donghack right now, right? By throwing this bomb, it's forcing the Runaway supports to move back into the T1 situation. So even though the bomb doesn't get a ton of value, it just forces such a shit. Like, you see where these guys are. Forces Lamp, he gets low, forces their whole position back, and it's just... That's just a great bomb, honestly.
Pounce on that one, T1. Look at that, barreling forward, Runaway. She can move around the side, ends up getting a point cap. I think that might have been Chio, but they're going to lose that just as soon as they gained it. It does stop T1 from...
And I think this is sort of a telltale sign. If you're seeing in Contenders that they are playing Brawl, I think you will see that bleed into Overwatch League as well. I would not be surprised in Overwatch League if we're seeing a lot more of this. Actually, after this break, I want to look at something. I actually really want to look at something. Remind me. I want to look at the leaderboards of Korean ranked.
For now, Runaway kind of on the last.
I kind of want to see if it's changed to more Reinhardt.
Let's see what Otto can get done with his Blizzard. But
That's a good mail by Zest again.
that's good, but again, immortality field down. They lose space. Donghack can
Yeah, the Immortality Field. I think the Immortality Field is the only thing keeping Runaway in this.
sound barrier there. It's actually Unique ends up being the first one to go down, but there's the trade onto Donghack. Otto
Honestly, I think it's a May diff right now. The May diff has been pretty crazy. Zest has been very good on this May.
Miracle Dead Eye. Not that that tends to be the Miracle Ultimate these days, as it's really just simple Chio and FaZe now trying to juggle the points, try and keep it alive for some reason.
Yeah, Runaway just kind of messed up the couple of fights on these retanks with those Diva bombs and stuff like that. All right, please, 1 second. I want to check this out. Let's have a look at this. Real quick. Let's take a quick line thing. How much is there any Reinhardt being played at the highest level? It's a bunch of Wrecking Ball. It doesn't seem like it. So it hasn't transitioned or bled into ranked enough. They got a fucking Orisa 1 TP. I don't think on ladder, which is interesting. If you're not seeing it on ladder, I'm interested to see if it's being played in scrim still. What about damage? Yeah, but Tracer Ash still? Interesting. So it hasn't bled into ranked yet. Korea fucking hates Ryan. Yeah, same. Honestly. But at some point, you just got to accept that this is the way it is. But unless you're Korean ranked, they just like they have like an agreed situation where they're not going to play Brawl in ranked. They don't have an LH Cloudy who just comes onto their server and is like, "We're going to play Brawl, or you will lose the game." That's what happened in NA. Cloudy just came in, started forcing everyone to play Brawl. He just duoed with someone, told every one of his teams, "Yo, play Brawl, play Brawl, play Brawl," and then he just kept winning to the point where the only way to beat it was to play Brawl back. Kaiser Stonks, yeah, Kaiser Stonks are on the way up. Yo, set nade, pod.
It's kind of interesting. That's a,
Hey, bro.
again, they've actually
Come on.
swapped around the off-tank, main tank here.
Oh, Salem, did you take Bo's spot? I wonder why Bo's upset.
Right. No, okay. No, we're good. We're good. Carry on.
We're gonna get another cat tree in this room.
Okay, they play some Echo, fly in the sky. Widowmakers off from MN3, just have a look, and they've identified.
Alright, so what do we got? We got Brawl with McCree Reaper, which is interesting. I wonder if this is in reaction of expecting a double bubble from Runaway. Because I think the Reaper is better against double bubble than you'd expect like a May or something, right? So I think this is both teams expecting the double bubble. And maybe that's why T1 is leaning more into the Moira, is it's better against double bubble than the Baptiste. McCreeper. Alright.
Pretty happy to do it as well.
Dude, the quality is so bad on this VOD.
Kind of barreling down, Donghack next to the line of fire. It might even be FaZe who actually goes down before him. Either way, they've had to
Wow.
completely abandon.
Wait, what? Sorry, what just happened? They just walked in, T1 just rushes in, kills the Brig,
And the Moira again. So yeah, they're just gonna walk into Runaway.
and then that's just the end of that chapter. Okay,
Geo just kind of barreling
cool.
down, Donkak next to the line of fire. Might even be FaZe who actually goes down before him. Either way, they've had to completely abandon.
Career Contenders underfunded. Sag. Actual Sag.
That's going to be a pretty quick cap from T1, very similar to what we saw BM accomplish actually against.
It's sad because we used to like, you remember like back in the day when Apex quality was like the next level thing? Like Apex production was like so sick, and now it's, look at us now.
That requires you to really, you know, fight for positioning too early. You just go
Fastest cap ever, yeah. That was, it was just, they just lost the Brig and then they're just like, okay, thank you, have a good day.
they're pretty much going to be dead. Runaway now going to be moving towards their own brawl.
I think it's broadcast. Yeah, I don't think the Korean broadcast is underfunded as much. I think it's the Western broadcast of Korean Contenders.
Countercomp you by the fact that you're not going to get the really kills this on the echo.
Yep, honestly, works just fine.
Check out the comp switch is coming out. So T1 goes to double bubble themselves with the Tracer Echo. Wait, what? Sorry, well, I'm glad you mentioned it, because here's what happened. Runaway loses Brig. Just gives up the first point. Everyone runs back to spawn. They switch to Brawl. The most classic form of Brawl with McCree. And then T1 goes, fuck you. We're gonna go double bubble. And now they're okay, sweet. I don't know what is happening in this game yet. I wonder if they will ever team fight.
Plenty of time available.
Might not have to do that.
Okay. Oh no. That was not great. By Belosria?
Maybe feed a little bit of ult charge in terms of healing to Krillin, and that's it. They're not really challenging for the high ground. Otherwise, they have to do a setup.
It was a good wall by Ada. You gotta give credit where credit's due.
Quite difficult. They want to
Oh, Marriage. 2-tap and Zest. Put him in Frowny Town.
kills are coming on through.
Good res by Unique though. That's a hard one to get.
Yeah, it gets rezzed here, but it's a little bit of a slowdown. A little
Yeah, if they're just pushing cart though, like, Runaway needs to find a way to stop the cart. Okay, there we go. Oh, okay. MN3 just gets whacked and then shot.
line across the net, and they're gonna move sort of down.
But yeah, if you're T1, you just want to force them off the high ground positioning.
P1 just not quite getting
It looks like they've done a good job of it.
sort of pushing the boulder up there.
Ado needs to get the memo that they're going high ground.
There's a lack of
Where is Ado going?
T1 force Runaway down.
Is he walling himself up? Is there a Maywall there? I don't know if there is.
Another dive in. Belosria this time much more careful, and we're slow pushing again.
Yeah, like they're slow pushing, right? Like T1 doesn't have to do anything. T1 is pushing the cart. They're winning team fights without having a fight. Merit kind of slaps with the left clicks right now.
Merit, honestly, that they can easily follow up on. We're gonna see Belosria kind of try and go for a dive. Zest actually duplicated the Zarya.
I don't know if I like the duplication of Zarya in this setup. If he gets the grab, it's fine. Okay, he got the grab. Oh, is he just gonna yeet this at the backline? Oh, that honestly, as much as that's a whiff grab, you have to give respect to the backline here. Look at their recognition of what happens here. The McCree rolls, the Baptiste jumps, and the May blocks. Like they also, all three of them saw this coming. So you got to give respect to the play. As much as it was kind of a whiff by Zest, you need to throw it more behind them. That was good play, counter play by the Runaway squad. Oh wow, how are they getting? They're getting so many picks. And on the res, yo. Yo, that was some pretty clean. Winston Mechanics gets a 2K. And applying more pressure. Someone stop this man. Dodges the pin. Build different. This is today's matches? No, this is last week's matches. Split the Ryan, yeah. I reviewed this series. I molded so hard the lack of Diva versus the double bubble. Yeah, it does seem weird that they... Oh, well, FaZe just switches to Diva here. I feel like that should be a pretty obvious switch. I think FaZe wanted to go Zarya. FaZe wanted to go Zarya when their expectation that T1 was going to keep playing their Brawl. Because I think it seems like Korea still likes the Zarya in Brawl. We've seen a trend in North America where people are just playing Diva and less Zarya. But against double bubble, like, yeah, you'd almost always want a Diva over the Zarya, just so the Diva can close distance way easier and negate a lot of the double bubble range that the backline has. It's a good mail. That's a great disengage by T1. How does that happen? They just dive the point, blow everything that they have, like the mail, the high noon. They just split away from that, and they get merit. How does that? And they force the bit. How did T1 do this? Like, I don't even know where they went. Where's the entire team of T1? That had to have been coordinated by T1, knowing that they were going to come out with a massive ult advantage and just run. Wow. Runaway just got actually 9-headed. That's such a sad fight. You re-engage, use Mayalt, High Noon, and a beat, and you lose to T1 who used a pulse bomb, and that's it. That is demoralizing.
That's incredible. The fact that Runaway go towards card, they think they got a fight on their hands, and nope, T1.
And then he goes back to Zaya. FaZe, what are we doing here? He went to D.Va for the fight and then switches back to Zaya? What are you doing? Pick a lane. And they're gonna go Brig Bap? You're losing your advantage. Like, there's no, like, if you may as well get off the Mei and get off Brawl at this point. If you're not gonna play the Lucio, you want to get off the Mei and the Reinhardt. Like, you just need to. They're just getting, like, Runaway look lost. They honestly don't seem like they have any idea what they're supposed to be doing here. Like, and they're just getting snowballed into existence. Wow, T1 is just dominating Runaway. I think if you're Runaway, if you want to play double bubble, just play double bubble. Like, I don't. I felt like they just committed to playing Brawl and then just didn't switch. Why would you switch up D when you know they have grab? There's a lot of reasons. Like, I don't. Like, obviously Zaya can get more value in a situation where there's no longer high grounds on the third point, all that kind of stuff. But like, it's not like D.Va's bad, and you have ult charge. Like, you don't need to commit to it. You don't need to commit to it. I was saying, let me close the door. Sab doesn't want to hear my Korean Contenders analysis. FaZe played Mystery Heroes, but I only unlocked D.Va and Zaya. Alright. Wait, is it? Alright, so what do we got? Double bubble versus double bubble. Alright. Runaway, we good? We cool? Play double bubble. Do you want to play double bubble, and we'll get to see where everything stands. Can you explain why Monkey works here? So double bubble, because we might see this in Iconward is a pretty classic map where I think even in the Overwatch League we'll see more double bubble. The reason the Winston, when we say double bubble, we mean Winston Zaya, okay? The reason the Winston gets a lot of value is he can play off of high grounds better than the opposing team, and it allows you to control a ton of space with the Trace of the Winston, and then your Zaya and a Brig can play as like this 3-man death ball that just like sort of walks. So the Tracer, Echo, and the Winston provide a lot of space, and then the backline walks forward, okay? It's good against Brawl in certain situations, especially like second point Iconward, because the Brawl has to engage, right, hard, and then what happens is everyone just splits away and they can't close the distance onto the backline, and that's where you're going to see high grounds and all that kind of like mind games come across in, you know, these meta switches. The reason Winston is good is because you have an Ana. The Ana enables the Winston a lot with the nanos, and it just allows him to just run around. But Winston is by far one of the best, well, the best tank at controlling, maybe D.Va, but just controlling high grounds and just jumping back and forth, protecting himself. Oh, Donghack just gets donked on.
Trying to sit tight, hold down some kind of sight line, but really they're waiting for the respawn. Now it has it back in. See if the second to go around is more successful.
This will give Krillin a decent advantage. You see that Krillin's already, you know,
and that's why I think generally at OWL we're going to see a lot of Brawl in very linear, non-high ground maps. You will see a lot of Brawl even in the East, I think. Not a ton in the East, but a lot in the West. While some maps like Gibraltar's, your Iconwards, I think Double Bubble might be prominent even in both regions. MN3 is playing with fire. This Merrick just has so much pressure on him. And they just can't punish. Bella's rear is just living. Oh, that's a great nano on the Zaya. It's really interesting in this comp as an Ana because there's a lot of things that you can nano. You can nano the Tracer, you can nano the Winston, you can nano the Zaya in certain positioning. Oh, Donghack goes down. I honestly think there's a bit of a main tank difference going on, at least in this map. It feels like Bella's rear, especially on the Winston, is just outplaying Donghack like crazy. It is curious that neither team is playing the D.Va, and both of them want to rely more heavily. Well, actually, I guess if you're not playing the Brawl, you need the Zaya for the wins. Oh, Otto.
That might just turn this back on its head.
Wow. That was a nice pulse on. Well played by Otto.
Wow,
I can understand why people are saying Otto had a bad series. He's had a lot of bad plays, but he's had a couple of really good plays on the Tracer as well. What are your thoughts of Dallas trying to pick? Are you saying, what are your, like, do you think they are trying to pick up those players? Or are you saying the idea of them picking up a Stitch or a Sigma? I would rather than pick up a Sigma than a Stitch. I think Stitch hasn't been super impressive to me, and I think Sigma has a ton of potential. But I also think there's a lot of Korean Contenders players that could be picked up. In replacement of Xe, obviously, it's impossible to fill Xe's shoes, I think. But they just need something consistent. And something that could play McCree and Tracer, or like Hitscan and Tracer, would be so beneficial for Dallas. Bellazaria, just having that MTD again. Should they pick them up? As I said, I think picking up a Hitscan Tracer Specialist would be really good. And there is a couple of options. As I said, Stitch is fine. I don't think I would prefer to see like a, you know, a couple of other players, but we'll see. Xe best McCree and so I think last year, I think you could easily make that distinction. Yeah, and the question is, what are they going to play on Friday? Are we going to see Doha Sparkle? Because I don't know how they play that in the current meta. Like, one of them is going to have to play something that they're not super comfortable on. I don't know a meta where they can both play comforts unless they define something themselves. Yeah, MN3 is just farming. Yo, the mullet. The power of the mullet of Krillin. Sombra Doom? Yeah, but Sombra Doom's just not good in Brawl. Like, if you're playing Sombra Doom, like, I don't think Sombra's good in Brawl. I think it's just too slow. You're just gonna get outpaced by another team. I just don't think Sombra's very good in this meta. Obviously, the EMPs can be valuable, but there's a reason no one plays Sombra.
Been about 30 of those seconds already.
Alright, they nano the Winston in. Wait, who's the nano? I don't even know who they nanoed. I can't see with this UI. Zest gets merit though. Alright, Donghack, I'm gonna need you to do something. Pull something out of your bag of tricks. Oh, MN3's kind of pounding this series right now as well though. Like, he literally feels like he's just running around getting picks. Bellazaria and MN3 are just, like, massively outplaying Donghack Otto. I honestly think there's just such a big difference between those two right now. Winston? Yeah, I thought it was the Winston made the most sense. Problem is only Sigma is the only Korean in NA that I heard of for the DPS. Yeah, but that's because he's been playing with Odyssey, right? So it's like, I think he could be good. He's already playing with Ping, because the issue becomes the visa, right? So can they get someone short term who's Korean because they have Korean infrastructure? Are they going to be able to put someone in short term? We don't know. Oh, nice pulse bomb. There you go, Otto. There you go, Donghack. Proving me wrong. Gets the back line. Yeah, Bellazaria didn't get anything done that fight as well. Alright. It is interesting that they, like, I'd be curious to know how much work Zest is getting done on this Echo, because it must be hard without a lot of care, right? You don't have that mercy to really pocket you. So, but I think that's how it is being played these days, like, without the mercy with the Ana. And then the Ana's just trying to, like, help pocket. Alright, let's see the Winston loose. Dude, double Winston. We're going back to 2016. Kai and Debet in the back line. God, it's so terrifying. I do not miss double Winston. Yeah, grab's good. I don't really know what's happening here. We're kind of in chaos, but the rally from Runaway might carry them through this. Like, the rally's just so strong in this situation. Yeah, it looks like they are going to get it. We have to go back, said nobody ever. Double Winston, double Soldier, double Lucio, true meta, dude. I still have PTSD about playing Mercy against Debet Kai double Winston. I got farmed one game.
in some damage. Runaway now, it will cost them.
Fellow beta player, I see. Yeah.
As well, Auto still has a pulse bomb available. We'll just probably throw that one into the next, being that there's no grab coming online anytime soon.
Overwatch peaked 2 seconds before they added hero limit. Not true, not true.
Ideally, they're finished with some time. If not,
I think people look at GOATs with rose-colored glasses without really remembering what it was truly like. Obviously, the meta was super cool and there was a ton of depth there, but I am very glad we are playing on hero limits now. The game was way too chaotic and impossible to balance before this. Alright. It's going to cost them a lot. It cost them the Echo copy, it cost them the Nano, and it cost them the Primal to win that fight. And Runaway's going to come back with a ton of ults, right? So, Runaway, I think you take that fight if you're them, right? Like, it's just... They have the High Noon, they have the Pulse Bomb, they're getting close towards the Nano. If they can get this rally online, I think Runaway is in a good spot.
it's going to be draw is the only viable option for them. And likely, T1 are not going to draw at all. They're going to go for the 2-0. They're going to have the 2-0.
How'd you get your key closed? I think I was just RNG. I have applied for a ton of shit, but yeah, I just got RNG into the beta. Closed beta. Why run double bubble? Everyone has ults at this point. It's too hard to switch. There hasn't been a good time to switch, so you just sort of stick with it. Ultimates are too impactful. Oh, Unique got baited there. I think Unique needs to rally. Like, I want to see Unique rally here. It feels like they're giving away their advantage and giving Runaway too much time to catch up. Oh, Merit. Where the fuck was Merit? How did Merit get there?
Especially with Donghack not getting anything done with that Primal. Simple goes down. There's a kill to Zest, but is it anywhere near enough? I don't think so. Not with the Nano running on Bella's-Ria, keeping FaZe a long way away from the cart.
Runaway never made it to that rally. I honestly think the win condition, if Chio could get to the rally, I think they could have won that, but they just bled out before they could get there. MN3 too strong on that Tracer. Alright, let's see what we got. Custa Paul Jake can return to Dallas as a Tracer player. It's time to shine, y'all. Time for me to put on my Tracer. Pull out my pocket pick Tracer. It's legendary. I have never shown you, and I've never made it into top 500 as a Tracer. But, trust me, it's going to be sick. Alright, we're going to see Double Bubble again. This is another map. Dorado is another map in which I think, you know, very high ground centric. We will see Double Bubble a lot. So it's interesting that these maps are sort of kind of conducive to not playing Brawl. I wonder if these are maps... Do you guys know how it works? With Korean Contenders, do they choose the maps? Does each time they lose, they choose the map in the specific game type? Or is it set maps? Because maybe they're just like gentlemen's agreeing to not play the Brawl maps. But we're going to see a complete mirror comp with the Double Bubble, with the Ashe. Chosen ahead of time. Preset. Okay. Interesting. So it's just the way the cookie crumbled. So we're going to see Nano versus Nano. Dude, T1 already has Nano. Bella's-Ria just took so much damage. But I don't think they're going to be able to get the Nano off in time. And Runaway's just rolling right now. Woo! It felt like T1 just gave up too much positioning. They took too much damage and just kept giving space until eventually Bella's-Ria just died. So, big play by Runaway, but almost too passive by T1. They didn't hold the right spots.
Which is a surprise, given that, like you said, the Nano was there, the sub 1 minute Nano was there.
What's up, buddy? Saying hi to chat.
Getting the better of those sort of naked fights, if you will, where it's just, you know, two teams shooting at one another. So
I'm not a fan of Double Bubble. This is how New York lost their run. No, I think Double Bubble's a great meta. I really do. Like, I think it's way more skilled. I would much prefer to see Double Bubble in Owl than Brawl. I think it's just a much more skilled and across the board more interesting composition. Oh, that was a good counter. The Nano shouldn't get a ton of value from this. He's gonna... Oh, nice sleep. Great sleep. Woo! That was just so well played by the T1 backline. Donghack just literally couldn't get anything done. Plus no Mei, yeah, no Mei, no Ryan, no Lucio. Hey, buddy, come on. Is that Justice Adder? Yes, the very same. He's now playing it for Runaway and Contenders.
fight. Let's imagine a world where Dongak's still in there, FaZe drops a grab in there, Ado puts on a pulse bomb, suddenly a Runaway off to the races.
Just want to see a variety of metas. I think we will see it. I think we'll see Double Bubble and we'll see Brawl. I think those are the two metas we'll mainly see. I'm curious to see if we'll see any of the Wrecking Ball stuff like we saw on this map with like the Wrecking Ball Zen Brig. Oh, great grab. Honestly, you take those grabs. That's such a time waste for Runaway. Hey, if they can isolate the backline on Coast as well, this could be really good for them. If that's another, like, what is that, 10, 15 second stagger? Doesn't seem like they want to go for it. Runaway has a lot of ultimates. Runaway have the ultimates to win this fight, or at least stall out this fight for long enough to... Oh, Ado dies. It sort of goes back to the fact that Ado's died first, like, a lot. That's such a bad death. And you can see Runaway wants to go. They have the confidence because they have the ult advantage. The longer that these fights don't go on, the closer T1 gets with their ult disadvantage. Like 6 times. Is Ado bad? I don't think he's bad. He's had a bad series so far. He's had some really cool plays, and I don't think his mechanics in his plays has been. He's just been isolated and got picked first a couple times, which just sometimes happens. Yo, I've never seen Bob get stuck on the way through. Welcome to Overwatch, Donghack. Look at this. Donghack jumps. 400 health. He's gonna primal. Bashed. Dead. Bash slept dead. Feels bad, man. Oh no. And there you go. Runaway. Like, Runaway didn't even use all their ultimates. Like, they couldn't get the primal off. But they used the rally, they used the bob, and they still don't get the positioning that they needed. This is going to be so hard for Runaway to take this. I don't know how they do this. They need to nano in Donghack and get positioning, but not many people can follow Donghack. So they need to get close position without losing anyone and then get a good engagement, which is just so hard to do. Main tank life, yeah. Legitimately just main tank life. Brawls vs 2, yeah, but the problem is, how do you get value out of a grab, right? If you are a FaZe, how do you grab someone and get effectiveness from it? Because they can't get onto the high ground. So Donghack's the only one who can really control his high ground. And then as I said, right, they get the space, we're using the nano on Donghack, but then they just lose someone. Like, they just keep losing someone. Every time they try and do something, the rest of the team is getting isolated. Oh, God. Oh, Bellucia didn't want to use... Oh, God, he actually gets caught. I thought he had primal, but he didn't. Oh, that was kind of bad by Bellucia and Zest getting isolated. It's curious that we see MN3 play the hit scan and the tracer while Zest plays the tracer and the echo. You know, so if Zest is a flex DPS player that has the tracer in his back pocket as well. Unique's flails are huge. It's really hard to tell, but like, yeah, like literally feels like Donghack is just never getting on top of the backline of T1. And I guess that credit does need to go Unique for that.
Pretty soon because you got the control you're looking for now, and Runaway, they spent like 3 minutes trying to do just this.
By the way, Krillin, Simple had a 30% charge lead on his nano boost. Krillin has entirely closed that gap now. Look at that.
Oh, Bellucia is in trouble. Oh, they get isolate Donghack, dude. Like, every time Runaway goes, gets space back, it costs them something. Oh, that's a really good coach gun. Actually, this seems great for Runaway, right? We're like, oh, they got the Bob, Bellucia's thing. They didn't use Nano, and the cart's not moving. The cart's going backwards.
I mean, it feels like it might be too little too late. Only 30 seconds left.
Oh. Like, Runaway finally get the high ground, but it costs them everything. Alright, they trade the nano for the rally. Great sleep. Oh, Zest goes down as well. If Bellucia can live long enough to get his primal... Oh, great grab. Great grab, but... Boom. Boom goes the dynamite. Honestly, that was well played by Runaway. That was really well played by Runaway. They, like... That's a hard point to cap, and T1 played it really well. Like, giving the space when necessary, but also trying to punish around it. Do you think Sombra would be better? No, I think Sombra's really hard in this meta. Alright, so here's the problem with Sombra. Who do you farm off of? If you're Sombra, who do you farm off of? It kind of has to be the Winston at that point, right? But it's sometimes really hard to farm off of a Winston. And you can't fuck with the backline. The backline is Brig, Anna, Ashe. and a Xayah, right? So you can't really farm off of any of those people because they all just like use bubbles, stuns, you have the potential of dying. So you kind of have to just charge off of the Winston. But then the Winston can use his bubbles. You also now off-angling, like you have the potential to just get shot by the Ashe. Like, it's just kind of, as much as theoretically when you get the EMPs, it could be really good, but I think it's really hard to charge EMPs in this. Can't you you can force Xayah bubble, but you're forcing Xayah bubble for them to then, you also have to recall. So are you really doing anything? Sombra's biggest weakness is that she doesn't really have any neutral game effectiveness if she's not individually hacking anyone. But even the individual hacks aren't that useful on any of these characters. Obviously, it stops jumping, bubbles, all that kind of stuff, but they can still function as a hero. And Sombra just doesn't do enough damage to justify just running a Tracer or something like that, right?
Unless you're snowballing right now, you don't cap at all. So Runaway got no ultimates except for the Bob. This Bob is not going to do much except for, you know, buy some space, buy some time, and I don't know that there's a lot of that going around right now.
Alright. Runaway is still trying to get this high ground. They did a good job. They actually did a good job of trying to get this high ground. If they can get this high ground from T1, they've done a good job. Oh, Merit needs to not die here, though. Alright, nice. This Bob, they've been doing a good job of getting value from Bobs. Like, Runaway uses it so well of pushing the Bob into a space and then taking that space. And now they have the high ground, right? Like, that was honestly phenomenally played by Runaway. Getting the high ground off of T1. Dude, he wants it so bad. Tio was ready for that. Oh, Donghak gets unique. How does that happen? Oh, T1's in a good... sorry, Runaway's in a good spot. Simple has been good for Runaway. He's been getting a lot of sleeps on Belisaria in this map. I'm wondering if T1 is giving too much space, not fighting for space enough. It feels like they're relying on picks too much, because that's like, the same thing happened on the second point, the end of the second point, where Runaway's committing ultimates and T1 just isn't responding. Their response is giving up space. They're not dying for the high ground, they're not committing to it, but they're eventually bleeding out. So what do we got? Runaway's gonna run the Wrecking Ball meta that I was talking about that gets played on Cotton sometimes. I much prefer double bubble to this. I think the Zen Ball is just going to really struggle to get value. So I'm interested to see how Runaway does this. I wonder with the high ground and the defensive positioning of Runaway, if the Simple on the Zen and Merit on the Ashe can just do so much damage that it makes it so oppressive for T1 to be able to do anything. Oh, Donghak.
Oh, he got as low as 21 there, but he still rolls away to safety. And you know what? I'll say the optimism.
Think Donghak is more comfortable on ball. That would make sense why they're willing to play it. Donghak didn't look super comfortable on the Winston.
This has actually been ground gained here for T1. Has taken them about a minute to get said ground. Now this is the break point. If they can get a fight win here, you can get a pretty high speed cap through the courtyard.
I feel like it's a comfort switch, and I don't mind that. I don't mind a comfort switch.
So now there's no real major win condition for Runaway outside the grab, which means for Runaway they gotta just win these neutrals. They gotta have great neutrals. There's not good counters from T1 either outside of Krillin and Unique, and Krillin's been playing out of his mind.
Okay.
He's got the Nano already, although that's
Yeah, the Nano Winston. I'm curious to see how they deal with this. Simple does almost have Transcendence, but
Great neutrals is my band's name.
oh yeah, Chio dies. Like that's perfect by Belisaria. Literally perfect. He did that pretty much alone. Because Zest is kind of like trying to like fend away the Wrecking Ball and the Tracer. Like, hey, stay away.
Runaway will at least get their members back. Will they be able to win a fight off it though?
they might just have to tempo trance here. The fact they're gonna have to because phase is too low.
Nope, too late.
Oh, MN3 gets phase.
Yep, unfortunately the opportunity is missed. Donghak has slept, so look.
Clean play. The Transcendence was just a little late from Simple. He needed to save phase with that Transcendence. It seems to be what double bubble does against Bull Zen, yeah. Because the ball backline of Brig Zen, like the idea, right, when you're going against this Brig Zen is, in your brain, it makes you think, hey, I should kill the Zen because Zen is the squishier target. But the problem is Brig actually doesn't actually have that much self-sustain. She doesn't have something to self-sustain herself other than the Inspire proc time, but doesn't heal you that much. then the Zen Orb. So you actually can isolate the Brig and kill the Brig more reliably than you kill the Zen, right? If a Brig gets Inspire and then fucking double, triple packs the Zen, it's hard to get through that. It's just so much healing.
It's just too little too late. It's going to be the cap coming over for T1.
That's so unfortunate, man. Like, I think simple.
Didn't Anna help on the Brig pick? I'm not sure. I'm. There might have been a purple. There might have been a free shot, but
I was thinking, like, maybe he's saving it for the counter to counter Plisten's grab, but that's not your primary goal. I think your primary goal is you just got to make sure FaZe is alive. Because it doesn't matter if you counter.
Alright, let's see if Runaway can get more value. Because this is the real hard one. This is the hard one for, like, any point. Like, capping this second point. Somehow getting the high ground from Runaway needs to be on T1. Queston has decided he shall take the high ground himself. Alright, they nano the Winston in. Dude, playing a Winston into this must just feel so fucking awful. Oh, wow. Great grab. Honestly, great grab by FaZe. He even held it for long enough, right? Forced out the nano, let it all happen, took some space, tried to see if they could win it without the grab, but then it's like, we're kind of bleeding out here, drops the grab, cleans everyone up.
So Runaway struggled here, by the way, because they were also running double bubble with the fact that they had a Zarya. Plisten's on the Zarya, obviously playing double bubble. How does T1 get, you know, this?
I've seen countless Winstons booped up the high ground, jump on Dorado streets. Yeah, it's very, like, Winston's generally, you need the Zarya bubble. And for anyone who's like, oh yeah, maybe D.Va could help the Winston get on high ground, the biggest help for a Winston is this bubble. This bubble stops him from getting knocked, from booped when he's jumping onto the high ground. And that is so important. Because if a Winston has to drop his own bubble to get onto the high ground, then he loses his protection. So you need that bubble. And that, like, you see there, right? That boop would have put, like, he didn't want to end up on the high ground anyway. But if he didn't have that bubble, he wouldn't have even had an option of being able to stay on the high ground. I'm curious to know how much the backline has adjusted in knowing as soon as the Winston jumps, we need to be shooting him because we need to break that bubble so we can go for the boops, right? So it's like, it's on everybody to shoot it as fast as possible, break that Zarya bubble, give her the 40 energy. But if you can get that boop on that Winston, it's a, oh, that's a bad bob. It's a bad bob by Merit, ended up in a really bad spot. But it should be fine. Is more Mercy? I don't think we'll see much Mercy in the current meta right now with the way it's being played. Ooh, Zest is getting... Look, Runaway's lost that positioning. Talk about positioning. Like, look at where their Zen is. Their Zen's stuck in fucking bank. They can nano the Winston up, and they should get a lot of space from this, from T1. Someone needs to do something big. They do have the Rally and the Transcendence, but so does T1, right? Oh, Otto's getting kind of bullied. Simple's gonna have to trans here. There it goes. They did layer the Rally with the Transcendence pretty well. Merit needs to live. Runaway's done a good job of holding on to this. Holy shit, that was a great hold. That was a knife's edge right there. That could have gone either way. That cost T1 everything as well. Like, T1 used the Rally and the Nano to get into that fight. And now we go back into the same situation that I've been talking about, right? Everyone's tried to attack this end of second point into a high ground defensive team from anyone. And against an Ashe Zen, that's going to be so hard. Not shooting Zarya bubble is almost never an option. Yeah, you need, like, at this level, if you can't give a Winston, like, what? How long's bubble last for? 2 seconds? 3 seconds? You can't give Winston that 2 to 3 seconds of freedom to just do whatever the fuck he wants. Because that means he gets another jump again. He gets to hold his bubble for longer. He gets to do all these things, right? T1 is so good. They seem, like, actually pretty nuts. That was a nice little, cute little bubble. What was it? That was kind of weird. The way the spectator switched. Okay, we have an absolute brawl at the top of church. I don't know who's winning. 2 for 2, 4v4. Runaway lost both of their DPS, though. But Runaway benefits from this fight fizzling out, right? Because they have closer spawns, and they're going to have better spawns in a more defensive position. Oh, as long as FaZe lives. Oh, there goes the pick. There goes the Runaway backline. Well played by T1. That was very well done.
So Runaway have actually been able to even things up, all things considered. Remember, they only capped their...
It's the same Krillin from London? Yes, it's the same Krillin and Kleston from London.
I actually don't think T1 should have wrapped on the high ground towards towards Runaway, what they should have done is wrapped on the high ground, taken the opposite high ground on the right side.
All right, let's see what we got from MN3 with the bob. Because Runaway's been using their bobs very effectively, but I feel like I haven't seen them from T1 being super effective. So I want to see if MN3 can mirror the same thing. Like, last time Merritt even put it on the low ground. He didn't even need to put it on the high ground. He just needed to create the space.
Or Runaway actually hold here and get the miracle win.
Honestly, that's looking increasingly likely. They've got just a little bit at their disposal. They've got the rally.
Donghack, you good?
Transcendence as well.
There he goes.
Plenty of tools in the pocket. If they can get a tempo win here, Balustrade is already quite low. He's not really getting what he needs. Charges there on Kleston, but is he landing enough damage? Unfortunately, not currently. Transcendence now forced T1. Other ultimates coming up on rotation. Now the rally committed. Kleston nearly on a grab. The card has been moving.
Alright.
Do this. Finally,
So they used the rally very effectively. I didn't actually even see where the bob went. But they got the space, so they did exactly what they needed to do, right? So now it's on Runaway. Runaway used both defensives for that.
There's a nano available. Nano plus high charge into, some graviton surge.
They want to have a lot of also. The grab nano Winston is a hard thing to push into. Let's see if Merritt can get a good bob again.
Here we go. Mike hit that 100.
So they... Oh, so they nano the Winston in, and they trade it for the bob. Yeah, look at Merritt's bob. Oh, MN3 gets caught. Big shot by MN3.
That was such an important ultimate, and look at this, the 99 charge all for
Oh,
FaZe gets his own grab off, and it's
wow. Great grab by FaZe as well.
on T1's 3-0.
Runaway. Big plays, big plays. But that pick onto MN3 by Merritt was just so clutch.
Runaway struggled to get
Merritt's been good.
struggled on B, struggled on C, get it in overtime. I was expecting T1 were
All right, let's go to Hanamura.
on them, right? Look, they were communists. They had other places to be.
Oh.
Did you say they were communists? Pixie, we good?
What you're telling me is you didn't
I'm not sure if you can say that on broadcast.
get into Hanamura.
All right, what do we got? What? Oh God, the worst case scenario. Double shield versus... What are these comps? So Runaway's kind of playing the same thing, but with a Sigma on their defense. And T1's going to play double shield.
Tried to go in already. Doesn't have a bubble from Zarya because there's no Zarya here. Got this combo. We are going back to this
Interesting. I don't know if I like the Brig from Unique.
with the Sigma ball.
No, I don't remember.
I wonder if you'd rather play like a Mercy
I do appreciate
or a
that.
Zen.
So T1,
Actually, I don't hate the Brig. I think it keeps Donghack more in check.
a bit of a slow burn on these ultimates until they have that amplification matrix.
Oh God.
Down critical that he stays alive there because that could have just kind of broken things. But here we go. Krillin has the ult available.
So they're playing so slowly with this double shield. Just looking for picks. They're just peeking with the double shield, taking space.
They are going to go for the long rotation. Like I see what's going to happen. They're going to go towards the point. They want to make sure the ant matrix.
Just ignore this map's comps, honestly. It seems a little all over the place. I'm a little confused with what the fuck's happening here. Seems like weird as scrim meta that's going on. T1 are very patient. Yeah, and honestly that can be said. Like, it costs them a lot, I think, on their defense on Dorado. Of like, they play very patient. They're willing to concede space just so that like none of their team plays very greedy, right? They all just like trust the process almost style of they use ultimates. Okay, we can give them respect. We'll give them the respect and go back and back and back and then play for their own picks. And they just get them, right? Like, they do eventually get these picks.
But it is about 2 minutes elapsed. It's quite a long rotation and a slow fight play out here for T1. I do still see them closing this one out. Runaway may yet try and stay in this one, actually. They've still got Otto around the side. Simple does it.
Yeah, like T1 just took the world's slowest path to the point. But they eventually made it to the point, and then they eventually, once they get on that point, it's over. Triple shield. Oh God, please don't tell me triple shield's gonna become a meta at some point. I don't need this in my life.
Pushed on away so he could disrupt them when they were trying to get this ant matrix in. FaZe did drop the flux. Unfortunately, not enough to stop T1, and then T1 just go ant matrix and they win. They get on the point. Rest is history. Now we talk about snowballing. Simple's going to be here to slow it down.
Bull Orisa meta. Bull Orisa just doesn't synergize well at all because they don't really help each other that much.
Real touch and go one. T1 are going to bring a
So slow. Look, they're not even looking forward. They just know they're about to get flanked. Oh God, that Tracer. Look at how they have a shield forward, but their whole team is looking backwards.
identified as the key tool for that. It's going to be the rally.
Oh God, this poor ball dude.
Caught Donghack on the side here.
Yeah, look, their whole team just turned for Donghack. This must be so frustrating. There goes another great bomb.
While so T1 going to go ahead and start committing to it now. First of all, Klesson
Oh, the capping. Oh my god. T1 is... They just play so smart. Holy shit. This is toxic.
Absolute destruction across Runaway. The full
This must be so frustrating to play against as Runaway.
and that's gonna be full
Did anyone die from T1? I don't think anyone died from T1 that whole situation.
on the snowball there.
What? I don't think they lost a single player. That whole attack. That's insane. You know what this meta actually, what this like comp kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of when Orisa first came into the game and people played Orisa Hog. You remember that? People played like Orisa Hog, Widow, Hanzo. Was that the meta? And it was just suck pulls, and everyone plays so slowly, just waiting for picks. Take the space. Who could break the shield first? Who could get the positioning? Then you take the next spot, and then you take the next spot. That's kind of what it felt like. That's kind of interesting.
So with all that, look, where 4 minutes and change, 3 minutes.
Are you thinking season 1 playoff meta? That wasn't season 1 playoff meta. That was season 1. Because the meta actually switched at the last second to triple tank with solo support Mercy, and it sort of changed a little. That was kind of stage 4 meta. That was when we won stage 4. That was the meta.
Lord of the Rings, now there's 4 towers. So
Twice as hard. Sauron came back.
So boring to play, yeah, it was.
there is an additional ring. When you know what, the one ring to rule the
But
world
hey,
is
we were the best team
failure, that's
theoretically in the world at that comp, so I kind of like it. Oh, Donghack gets an isolation on Krillin. Yeah, I don't know if I like this comp by T1 anywhere near as much. It feels like that Zen is just gonna get fucked. Like without they're playing this. I don't know why they're playing the Sigma. Like I don't know why they're not playing the Zaya.
that's the way to execute with this as well.
Like they just caught Krillin and then he dies.
Get the aggression on, and T1 are expecting that they can just
Wasn't stage 4 grab dragons? Yeah, but that was with pulled pork.
Runaway. They know the game plan from there is to actually keep the pressure on. Be willing to
No, the grand finals was grab dragons.
despite the good time bank from T1.
What happened was people played Zen. I think it was Zen Mercy, and then people stopped playing Zen. For the finals, people dropped Zen and started playing the grab
With just under 6
dragon.
minutes on the clock, there's actually plenty of time here for Runaway to even lose a couple. And
You aren't prepared for what's about to happen. Oh god, don't say that. Every time this happens, a terrible C9 happens, and I feel awful.
Catch somebody sitting at the window and you boot them out the window. That's a huge play. Unfortunately, he doesn't catch Question, but that's okay. Runaway still looking for ultimates. I say they can double camp it, but would require them to get something. Question's actually going to find himself a flex soon. And that's huge for T1.
Runaway though, nearly on a rally. Have a pulse bomb.
Oh, Kleston dies.
Just frag Question. Let's just do that instead.
Yeah, let's just kill Kleston, yeah.
From Zest, trying to run down Donghak now. May yet find his mark. No, Donghak
Alright.
rolling away to safety as MN3 gets picked off by FaZe. Now T1.
Okay, Runaway's just walking through, getting picks. Oh, Kleston whiffs the flux. They get the trance out anyway, so it probably doesn't change anything, but not great. That's just so many ults. Yikes. That was such an awful defense by T1. And that's just kind of a result of losing the first point for free. Like, they just lost the first point. Oh. They just lost the first point for free. Like, you can't just give up the first point like that. You just come back. You just don't have any ult. Oh, Krillin kills Symbol. Dude, T1's getting ultimates. Oh, Addo dies to the mines! No. Don't do it to them. T1's gonna get ults. They got the rally out. The fight's living long enough.
They're not really getting that many kills, and Runaway, despite the few members lost,
No, FaZe is dead. Dude, that kill by Krillin was so clutch. If they hold this, this is on Krillin. No. Okay, it's over. It's over. Rally mines. It's over.
They've lost a little bit of that point progress. They're not quite threatening the cat. T1, they can afford to take boots off a few times.
Dude, Krillin just lived. Don't kill Simple, bro. You just gotta live. No. Alright, the Bob's on the point. Yeah, they're fine. Oh, the Transcendence. No. Krillin kills another one. Krillin's fucking sick, dude. What is this? Krillin is actually carrying.
On the side of Runaway. Now FaZe out of the mech, looking to get picked off. Ardo has a pulse bomb. Can he use it to finish someone off? Stick there onto Kleston, but no, he's gonna be able to stay.
Oh, that's so tilting. That is so tilting.
I'm out of words. The fight went on too long.
Holy that's just not fun. I'm angry for Runaway. That is just the most 2CP I've ever seen. There were so many things that went wrong that had to go wrong for them to get over that line. Addo dying to a mine. Krillin killing 2. Like killing, diving out of his Transcendence and killing Simple. And then baiting Donghack and not getting killed. And going back into spawn, getting another Transcendence, stalling out the fight once everyone died again, and then Krillin killed Chio. Like, Krillin is just, that's on Krillin. Krillin's just a legend. Oh god, MN3. Now they have a Blade, and now you're losing to a Genji in 2021. That's just... 98%, yeah, 98%. Ah, that's just rough. Every Overwatch person who's ever played the game knows this pain. They've been in this hell. Lost to a hit scan player on Genji. That's... Please tell me Runaway at least cap the second point. Just let them cap it. You know, I don't even care if they lose the point. Just let them cap it a little bit. Oh, the classic. Oh, no. T1, just let them have it. Just let them have it. They don't...
That's a really tough break there for Runaway, who are now so thoroughly behind the 8 ball. They've got to have a couple of...
I love that trick. The Wrecking Ball on the high ground is a really good one, yeah. Dude, T1 has Trance and Rally again. Like, how do you win this if you Runaway? Like, FaZe has to get an enormous grab, or Bob needs to be nuts. They would have had more time. Runaway had so much time when they were pushing that. They had 5 minutes. As I said, they were snowballing from first point. It's like the 2CP curse. That's why 2CP is so unbalanced. If you win the first fight, it's so easy to cap the second point, right? But as soon as you get stalled and as soon as you things start snowballing out of control, you're in trouble. Merit's Bob is not on the point, which is a problem. Oh, that's a big pulse. Because Unique had the rally. Oh, Addo died again. If there was a statistics for how many... Oh, that's... There was a statistics for how many times Addo has died first on his team, I think it would be in the double digits. Which is way too many times for a DPS Tracer player.
T1, they're so good, they even stole Runaway's clutch factor. I'm gonna paint one very specific picture here. There's one line of play
that is, this is just hard to watch. Runaway doesn't have ults. They have a soldier against a rally. They have a soldier against a rally. Someone work that out.
It's just gonna come down to grab. We've relied on phase grabs before. A lot of them haven't panned out. This one needs to.
Rally first, out from Unique.
Oh, Addo's dead first. It's not really his fault he had to touch, but just hurts me in my soul. Hurts me in my Overwatch soul just seeing that happen. Alright, in defense of everything that just happened, T1 wins the series, but I think T1 was a much better team. I think they look way better on the double bubble, and they like lived rent-free in Runaway's head. Runaway looked a little lost with a bunch of things. And I think T1 just played the neutral like way better. Like they were willing to give positioning. They played their ultimates better. They just played smarter. They didn't even mechanically, I don't think mechanically they were significantly better. I honestly just think they outplayed them. Like at so many different corners. With the compositions on Eichenwald, with the positioning on Dorado, on high grounds and stuff like that. Like, even though like Runaway punched back every now and then, I think it was just so well played. So, props to T1. Is T1 the best team in Korean Contenders right now? Are they number one? If they're beating Runaway, right? Because there's like a bunch of really good teams in Korean Contenders, right? That are just like, we don't know. Well, that's exciting. All the top teams haven't played each other. So we're gonna see some brawls coming in soon. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. That was actually a really interesting series. I think it was cool to see how the highest level of double bubble is being played, because we haven't really seen it, especially if you're a North American stan who doesn't really watch much of the Eastern regions contenders. It's a very different game of Overwatch that they're playing compared to the North American finals. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Enjoyed it. This will probably... I don't know how much Tier Tuesdays I'm going to watch unless there are some really good games once Overwatch League has started up again. Because there's just going to be so much Overwatch League happening. Overwatch League starts in a few days. So, thank you very much for watching. I'll be uploading a bunch of Overwatch League VODs coming up soon, but I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Yeah, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Peace out. Love you all.